As we already know, the Kanto incident has ended. And in this episode, the story begins with Emma's funeral. There you can see Takemichi, Hina and also some members of Tokyo Manji present that day. Chifuyu, Hake, Yuzaha, Inui, Matsuya, Payan, Angry, Smileys, Mikey, and also Draken, who looks sad at that time. At that moment, Draken said, "I loved Emma." And he apologized while prostrating himself in front of Mikey and Grandpa, while he said, "I couldn't protect her." Grandpa then responded by saying, "I see. You'd taken a living towards her." Then with a smile, Grandpa said, "I'm sure she is resting well." At that moment, Draken couldn't hold back his tears, and not only Draken, the members of Tokyo Manji who were present at the funeral, they all couldn't hold back their tears. After the funeral is over, on the way home, Inui accidentally runs into Koko. While patting Inui's shoulder, Koko said, "I'll be going on my own way. I can't support you anymore. So don't go ending up on the wrong path, okay?" Then with a smile Inui said, "Yeah. Thank you for everything." Seeing that day seemed like the day of farewell between the two of them. And this is a moment of friendship must be destroyed because of different goals and because of money. Then the scene changes to Kikucho, who has been released from the hospital. He went to visit the orphanage. Every corner of the place, Kikucho remembers the good memories with Izana when they were always together. Until the moment Kikucho stopped somewhere. Where in that place, at that moment Kikucho felt hopeless, and at that place Izana gave Kikucho reason to live. While walking away, Kikucho leaves a memorable earring from Izana to commemorate the figure of Izana who has passed away. In the murder of Sano Emma and Kurikawa Izana, prime offender Kazaki Tada and accomplice Shuji Hanma are deemed guilty. Kazaki is now dead, and Hanma? At somewhere. Shown the scene Hanma just finished eating ramen. "Man, it's getting boring. Thanks for the meal. I'm getting tired of being a fugitive." Shuji Hanma continues living as a fugitive. Meanwhile, in another place, Mikey is seen thinking about something while staring at the sea. "Alright, I've decided. So what will Mikey's decision be?" Then the scene changes to Takemichi and Chifuyu, the two of them are playing by the river. At that time, Takemichi was seen looking pensively at the river. Then Chifuyu asked him, "Well, Emma and Izana are gone, so many things have happened. It's only natural to get all gloomy." Takemichi said, "I'm just wondering what kind of person Kazaki was. I've got it all wrong. Kazaki isn't a time leaper." "Huh?" Chifuyu was shocked after hearing those words. Then Takemichi said, "He only had one life. Yet he successfully manipulated Tokyo Manji like a puppet, and killed a lot of people and climbed his way up to become the #1 delinquent in all of Japan. Did he have nights where he trembled in fear? I mean, he's totally weak physically. He climbed up only using his brains and his courage. He was amazing." Then Chifuyu said, "Get a grip, Takemichi. Amazing or not, who the hell cares? That guy was still an asshole. Don't think about it too much. That guy deserved his death." Suddenly Takemichi shouted. Then he ran, and jumped into the river. For a moment Chifuyu panicked seeing what Takemichi did. Not long after, Takemichi came out of the river. Then in a loud voice Takemichi said, "Chifuyu. I hate Kazaki to death. I can't help but loathe him. There is no way I'll like someone like him. He said it himself. He did it all because he loved Hina. He also respected me as a rival. That's why. I want to face him again." After hearing those words, Chifuyu begins to understand what Takemichi is feeling right now. Chifuyu said, "You'll catch a cold, Takemichi. Is it all clear now? Your feelings, that is. No matter how evil someone can be. I guess, it's just hard to accept the death of someone we knew." Then the scene changes to a few days later. Just then Mikey called Takemichi to meet him at Musashi Shrine. Then Mikey said, "Sorry for taking up your time. I wish to have a conversation with you. Can you tell me all about it? Everything about you coming from the future. Tell me everything about it." Since Kanto incident has ended, and Kazaki met his demise, it's finally time to conclude Takemichi's journey. When full moon sways gently in the night of one fine day, Takemichi tells Mikey everything about the future. "I'll start with how I died at the train station. No matter how much I talked." Mikey sat there, and quietly listened, deeply engrossed with my story. As I was explaining, I remembered all the past events. Gradually, things got more heavy and emotional. Just then Takemichi cries and apologizes to Mikey, because he couldn't save Emma and Baji. Not long after that, the atmosphere became quiet. Then Mikey said, "It's weird. The first time I saw you, you were beaten up so badly in that fight with Kiyomasa. But your back was bigger than anyone on the field that day. It's as if you were carrying many burdens. You're cool, you know? Takemichi is my hero." Then Mikey stood up, and he said, "I thought I would be creating the era. Get up, Takemichi." Then came the sound of footsteps approaching towards the shrine. Can you hear it? These are the footsteps of our era. Endlessly trying to save everyone even when you're beaten down. You who keeps on fighting and never gives up. You have created this era. It turned out that at that time, Mikey gathered all the members of Tokyo Manji at the Musashi Shrine. Then with a smile Mikey said, "It's your era. That's why I've decided." Then Mikey opened the meeting. "Everyone listen up. We have made a lot of sacrifices. But after defeating Tenjiku, Tokyo Manji is now Japan's top gang. Right now, we have created a great era that will be handed down to generations to come. That's why I want to end it all while we're at the top. As of today, the Tokyo Manji gang is disbanded. And all the members of Tokyo Manji are shocked by Mikey's decision." In the midst of the confusion of the members of Tokyo Manji because of Mikey's decision, Mikey ordered the captains of each division to move forward. First Division Captain, Hanagaki Takemichi, come forward. To change the future. This should be the best action. At that time Takemichi was about to say something, but Mikey continued his speech. Second Division Captain, Matsuya Takashi, come forward. Tokyo Manji couldn't have gone this far without you. Matsuya said, "Hold up, Mikey." But at that time Mikey didn't want to listen to Matsuya's advice or anyone. Then Mikey continued his speech. Third Division Acting Captain, Hayashi Ryohei. Even without Pa Chin, you have worked very hard. You're the best acting president. Payan was moved to hear this, but before he could speak, Mikey called the captain of another division, 4th Division Captain, Kawata Nahoya. "Thank you for supporting Tokyo Manji until the very end." In this scene, we are shown Smiley crying for the first time. Then Smiley says, "Don't say that, Mikey. I don't really." But just like before, Mikey didn't want to hear someone rebut his words, and he continued his speech. Mikey said, 5th Division Captain, Muto Yasuhiro. "Even when you're not here right now, I'll always regard you as a member of Tokyo Manji." And lastly, Vice President of the Tokyo Manji gang, Ryuguji Ken. Draken at that moment immediately came forward and he said, "Sano Manjiro. You're one egotistical brat. Above the heavens and under the heavens, I alone am the honored one. But we were all attracted to your charisma, which brought us to where we are now. I have no objections to the leader's decisions." Then while bowing his body, Draken said, "Thank to Mikey. Thank you for everything, President." Then Mikey thanks Draken for accepting his decision. For a moment, the atmosphere became quiet that night. Then Mikey continued his speech. "This marks the end of Tokyo Manji. No matter how good things have become, they must have an end. And that's the end as today. In this scene, all members of Tokyo Manji look sad about Mikey's decision. But never forget, Tokyo Manji is forever in your hearts. Hearing those words, the atmosphere turned into a spirit, and all the members of Tokyo Manji cheered, shouting Tokyo Manji for the last time. Angry and Smiley were still crying, because the Tokyo Manji gang had been disbanded. Angry said, "I can't believe it, big bro. Tokyo Manji is no more." Then Smiley said, "Neither can I, but if I were Mikey, I'd surely do the same. That guy has lost so many things important to him." Then Chifuyu calls Takemichi and he says, "What's your plan now? Tokyo Manji disbanded, and Kazaki is dead. You don't have anything to do here now, right?" Takemichi said, "Now that Kazaki is dead, surely he won't be around to kill Naoto in the future. So when I go back to the future, things will be good for sure. That's why I want to go back as soon as possible. But then, I won't be able to meet you guys in this time period anymore." Suddenly Hake called everyone. "Hey everyone! To commemorate our disbandment, let's make a time capsule." Time capsules? Okay, let me explain a little bit about time capsule. A time capsule is a historic cache of goods or information, usually intended as a deliberate method of communication with future people. Time capsules are sometimes created and buried during celebrations such as a World's Fair, a cornerstone laying for a building, or at other ceremonies. Okay, back to the story. At that time Mikey said, "Sounds good. Let's write a letter to our future selves." A letter? Yeah. Let's open it up 12 years later. Matsuya wondered, 12 years? Then Smiley and Angry said, "Why 12 years? Who knows? But this sounds fun." Then Mikey excitedly said, "Let's gather here in a week. Bring your letters and whatever you think is important." Sounds good. 1 week later, at the Musashi Shrine, you can see the ex-gang members of Tokyo Manji gathering together. Heian, Matsuya, Angry, Hake, Draken, Chifuyu, Smiley, Takemichi and Mikey. They look so excited. Then Mikey said, "Don't forget about this, guys. In 12 years, on Tokyo Manji's formation day, let us meet again." After that, Mikey took Takemichi home with his motorbike. On the way, Takemichi said, "Sorry for the trouble to send me back home." Then Mikey said, "I guess it's goodbye, Takemichi. Everyone else has their own place here. But as for you, you don't belong here, right?" At that time Takemichi looked doubtful about Mikey's words. Then Mikey said, "Takemichi, it's a promise. We'll meet again in 12 years with everyone. Tokyo Manji members, and Hina too. I will absolutely protect you all to see that. I will definitely." Hearing those words, Takemichi was moved. "So, don't be so reluctant about parting ways. Go back to the futures, Takemichi. Go back to that future where Hina is waiting for you." With the support that Mikey gave, Takemichi is determined and made up his mind. It's time to leave the past. The year 2006, March 16. Takemichi is still in the past. At that time, Chifuyu and Takemichi were riding together. That's when Takemichi realized, "Chifuyu, I need to time leap." Chifuyu said, "I see. You are going back 12 years to the future. I will miss you." Takemichi said, "No, I want to time travel back to 3 days ago." "What?" "It was White Day 3 days ago. And I forgot to give something back to Hina." At that time Takemichi panicked because he forgot to give a gift to Hina. Then in a panic Takemichi loses control of his bike. And they both fell to the ground. Takemichi apologizes to Chifuyu for his mistake. Then Chifuyu gave Takemichi a solution. "Leave it to me. This calls for the T2D2. Or time travel Doki Doki plan." Then Chifuyu started putting together a plan. "We will need some polka dot boxes, ribbons and a memo pad. Using these, we will give a gift full of dramatic surprises. Hina will definitely be excited for these. First, we write down all the dates from 3 days ago on the boxes. Then, you give this letter to Hina. A letter? Then, she will see the box under the slide. It's the 16th of March box. At that time Takemichi looked very impressed with Chifuyu's plan. Then Takemichi puts the ring into the box as a gift for Hina. After that Takemichi called Hina to come to the park. Meanwhile Chifuyu is hiding in the bushes. T2D2 plan start. That time Hina had arrived at the park. Takemichi? That moment in Takemichi's mind. First, I need to apologize to Hina. Then give her the letter. Oh man, I'm getting nervous. But at that time, Hina suddenly bows and apologizes to Takemichi. Hina said, for acting all gloomy. I mean, you're in greater pain than I am. But I haven't been sleeping well ever since that day. Ever since that day Kazaki died right in front of my eyes. I got scared. Everything about Kazaki, about Emma, it was all because of me, wasn't it? Meanwhile, Chifuyu who was hiding in the bushes wondered, the hell are they talking about, I can't hear them. And why is Hina bowing down? Takemichi who saw Hina who was crying at that time he realized something. Then Takemichi turned around and he took the gift that was prepared earlier. Meanwhile, Chifuyu looks annoyed, because Takemichi didn't follow the plan that was made earlier. Here. A ring? Yeah. It was for the white day, sorry that I'm a bit late. I don't have any special powers. And I'm not rich either. But I want to make you happy. More than anyone else. Suddenly in a loud voice, Takemichi said, so please, marry me. If you ever feel down, let me be by your side and make you feel better. Please don't cry. In 12 years' time, let's get married. On the other hand Chifuyu who heard that was surprised. Hey, I'm the one surprised here though? Not only Chifuyu, it turns out that at that time Naoto came, and he looked surprised when he heard that his older sister was getting married. Hina said, wait, don't you say it loud. Then Takemichi said, when we get older, of course. Then Chifuyu said, I mean, you proposing a cut of nowhere surprised me too. After that Takemichi said to Naoto, well, sorry for calling you here all of the sudden, Naoto. Then Takemichi held out his hand, and he said, since we had our first handshake here, at this park. Let's have our last handshake here, too. Thank you for believing in me, Naoto. This moment wouldn't exist without your help. Then Naoto said, so, does this mean both me and my sister are saved? Yeah. Definitely. So Hina. Chifuyu. Let's meet in the future. I'm back? Finally Takemichi managed to time-lapse back to the future. There's no mistaking it. Naoto is alive. And where is this place? And why am I wearing a tuxedo? The sound of a bell. It was then that Takemichi realized something, a tuxedo, the sound of bells. Wait, this is. Then Takemichi remembered when he proposed to Hina in the past. Don't tell me. Takemichi hastily ran outside the toilet. It turns out that outside Hina was waiting for Takemichi, and she said, you're late. The wedding reception has started. Takemichi looked very happy because he could see Hina who was still alive in this timeline. I'm finally. Hina suddenly grabbed Takemichi's arm, and hurried away. She said, we can't make the groom longer, can we? Groom? Hina said, today is Hayashida's wedding ceremony. How many times do I have to tell you? But Takemichi who had just arrived in the future, he was confused. Wait, hold on. I can't process any of this yet. Someone there also said that Takemichi was late, and told him to sit down. When Takemichi saw the groom, Takemichi was shocked, and he just realized, Hayashida is Pachin. Takemichi was silent for a moment looking at his friends who were present at Pachin's wedding. Back then they looked happy and still alive on this timeline. Takemichi was moved to see that. You guys survived. You guys are all laughing happily. Then Hina said, "What's wrong?" While smiling happily and shedding tears, Takemichi answered, "I just can't believe it. But with so many things going on around me, I've overlooked something very important. A happy future, but something is not quite right." Until here this episode, what do you think? Give your opinion in the comments for the next episode.